Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is Jana with Purple Girl Crafts. Today we're going to make this spinning circle card. This is the same card that I made at Christmas time with the extra circle that some of you had asked me to make. Now mine doesn't stick out. The card I saw, their embellishments stuck out. I want to keep my card inside, so mine is a little bit different, but it still has the extra circle in there. This does require die cuts for the circles, or you can use a circle cutter. And as you can see, as you open it up, that extra circle will spin on the inside. And this does lay flat for shipping. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we'll need is our scoreboard. And our first piece is going to be cut at 11 by 5. And we're going to score this at 5.5. Again, centimeters, it will be at the top left-hand side of the screen. And then we need 3 pieces. And these are going to be cut at 5.25 by 4.75. Then we will need 1 piece. This is cut at 3 by 3.5. On the 3-inch side, we're going to score this at 1 and 2. Turn it, score it at 1, 1.5, 2, and you can just go to that top and bottom score line and not score in the middle if you want, or you can score it all the way through, and then again at 3. So this is what you should end up with. Again, you don't need that one piece, but if you want to go ahead and just score it through, just make it easier, go ahead. Then we need 1 extra piece, and this is just to cut a separate circle. So we're done with our scoreboard, so let's move that out of the way for a minute, and we're going to work on this piece. So this is the piece. I'm going to put X's where we need to remove the pieces. And then we're just going to remove half of this one part of the arm. I'm going to put a diagram up on the top. And I found the easiest thing is just to go ahead and start on one side and cut the 4 score marks on one side. Then turn it. And then go ahead and cut those off. So you'll cut off the first one, cut off half of that one where we drew the line, then cut off the next tab, and then the last tab. So you should have just those 2 pieces sticking out. Then turn it and do the same thing. So cut all 4 of the score lines first. And you're only going up to that first score mark. And then turn it, and you want to match the other side. So you want to cut away the pieces that you don't need. And this is what you should end up with. Now you want to keep one of the longer pieces that you had cut off on the side. Just keep that one. We'll show you what we're going to do with that in a little bit. So then you want to fold these in. We're going to fold those 2 smaller arms that we had cut half of it away. We're going to fold those in. And then we're going to bring back our scoreboard because we need to make the diagonal score marks. So we are going to score this from this corner to here, and then this corner to here. So we're just going to do that diagonal marking. And the easiest way to do that is to go ahead and just fold that flap in so you can get corner to corner. And then go ahead and score it, turn it. Now if you can't see where the mark is, you can also take your pencil, and I'm just going to put just a little mark just so I can see where it's at. So I make sure it's lined up, and then just score that. So this is what you should have. So let's move our scoreboard, and then we're going to move this off to the side. We're going to work on the bottom or the base of the card. So we're going to take those 3 pieces, and we're going to glue 2 of those down. So that's just that blue colored paper that I did. And we're just going to lay this on one side. Make sure it's secure and lined up. And then go ahead and just take your card, lift it, flip it, and you're going to put the other piece on the exact same side, because this will be the top and the inside of the card. And this is the piece that we will cut our circle out on. So we're going to secure that down. For our circles, So the first one, let me give you the measurements on these. First one is 3 3/4 diameter. The next one is 3 1/4 inch diameter. And the next one is 2-inch diameter. So what we want to do is we want to take the largest one and the smallest one, and we're going to put those on the side of the card that we just put the paper on. And you want to make sure that these are even. Let me move this one out of the way because it's making it look off. So you just want to line these up. Then once you have it, it's best just to put some tape on it just to hold it. So I'm just using a low tack tape, or some people use sticky notes, which is another good idea. And then you want to put this center one in and making sure again that it's even and centered in there. And then once you have it centered, go ahead and grab some more tape and then tape that down. So we're going to cut that one, and then we're also going to cut out this extra piece of the teal paper that we did. We're going to use a 3 1/4 inch circle, and we're going to cut that out. So I'm going to go cut these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut my circles. So this is the teal one that I did, and then these are the circles that I cut through the 3 layers. So you want to make sure that it's cut through before you pull these off. And carefully pull your tape off. Okay, so I'm just quickly removing all the tape from the pieces. And I'm just going to set that tape aside because I'm actually going to use it a little bit later. So once these are all off, the first circle that we cut that has the circle cut outside of it, we're going to place that back in. Let's move these out of the way first. Kind of clean up our desk a little bit. So we're going to take that first circle and we're going to put this back, just put it right back where we cut it from. And if you have pattern paper, this would be the time to line it up and make sure that it's lined up with your pattern. So it'll sit like that. And then this teal piece that we cut, it is going to sit on top of there. All right, before we do that, we're going to go ahead and glue the mechanism. So we're going to glue those 2 flaps that we had cut off. We're going to glue those down. Just go ahead and put glue and then just go ahead and secure it. And then before we do anything else, we're going to glue the last side of the card down. This will be for the back of the card on the inside. So I'm just going to put glue around there, and then I'm just going to secure this to this piece. I like this paper because it looked just a little bit like some water. And then you want to take this card and you want to fold it in half. So we're going to fold it, making sure that the paper is now showing on the other side of the pattern paper. And then just go ahead and crease that out. And if you get any glue, just go ahead and wipe it off. So this will be for the base piece of the card is now done. So now for the next piece. We're going to glue this, but we need to fold all of our score lines. So we're going to start with our mechanism again, and we're going to fold that first tab down. Then we're going to do our diagonal folds. You're just going to fold those. You can do a mountain fold and then just crease them out. You just want to make sure they're straight. And then you want to fold that last end piece. And again, so if you hold it like this, you want to take those 2 little pieces and just push them in, and it'll collapse on itself. Again, as long as your legs are not overlapping, you did a great job. And then just go ahead and crease that out. So this piece is going to sit in the center of the card. We need to glue this down first before we put that circle on. And you want to make sure that this is in the middle. So it should be between the 2-inch and the 3-inch mark, because this is a 5-inch card. So once you have that lined up, make sure that it's not hanging over that fold of the card. Place glue on that tab, and then just secure that down. And you want to let that dry for a second, just to make sure that it is all the way down. So now we're going to take that circle again. We're going to put it through this piece, and you could just collapse this if it's easier. You just want to work it through that piece. Lay it down, and then lift up your card, turn your card back over, and make sure that your design, again, if you have a design, make sure it's lined up. Mine doesn't really have a design, but it kind of does a little bit, so I'm just going to move this around just a little bit until I like it. And then once I have it where I want it, I'm going to take that tape again. And again, this is just a low tack tape. I'm just going to secure just a little piece of that down just so that it holds it in place. I don't have to worry about it moving. Now for gluing down the mechanism, we're going to start with that little extra piece. We're going to use that in a second, but we're going to start with gluing that first leg down. So just like last time, you want to take this, fold that first diagonal into the right, and then we're going to put glue on that arm, and you just want to put it to where you see it's going to lay down. And then take the arm, lift it back up, and swing it and glue the side down. So just like this. So you want to glue it and then just turn it back and lay it flat. Make sure that is secure. The next piece is that little extra arm. Now this is where they glued the circle just to this other leg. I didn't like that because you can't really even see it once you open the card. So I did the little extra arm just to extend it out, and you'll see when we're done that the circle does stand out just a little bit further. So I'm just taking that piece, I'm not measuring it, I'm just gluing it to the edge of the arm so that it's going the opposite direction. So just like that. Then we're going to take our circle. Now I'm going to double this up because this paper, this one is really flimsy and this is more cardstock, so I'm going to glue the pattern paper to the cardstock. And this will just give it just a little bit of extra weight. Then we're going to glue this down. You want to put the flap on top of where you're gluing it because you're not going to see it underneath the card. If you put your circle on top of the flap, you'll see the flap when you open the card. You want to make sure that when you line this up, it doesn't go over the center of the card or the top of the card. So once you have it where you want it, and you're just going to lift up that arm and just put glue just on that extension. You don't need to put it on the whole thing because then it will get stuck. So just put it on that extension piece. Lay it flat and then secure it to that circle. And then just go ahead and just make sure it's dry. Now while we have it down, that last flap on the little arrow, we're going to just glue on that flap and then just take your card and close it. And that's that little flap that will keep the mechanism in place. You do want to make sure this is dry before you open it so that it doesn't pull away. When you turn your card over, take off that extra piece of tape. If anything's sticky, just go ahead and use your rubber eraser if you've got one, or anything you use to remove extra glue. You can just go ahead and get rid of that. So as you can see, this is how the card's going to open. You can see the circle turns the other way. Now this bigger circle we're going to put on the front, and it's going to get glued just to that arm. So I'm going to put glue just over that first piece, not all the way to the edge because I'm just not going to go to the edge of the piece. So you just want to put glue just to make sure that it's secure and holds it on there. And that way you have it even. And that looks good right there. Okay, next we're going to work on our embellishment. So I have this little bear that's holding a fish. And then I have a bucket that's got an extra little fish in it. I have a fishing pole and I have some extra fish. So these are the little fish that I made. So we're going to add these to the inside of the card. And I think I have about 4 of them. So before we do anything else, I want to glue down the bear. As you can see, the bear has blue over it. I had him on a different card. I didn't like the color of the card. So I didn't want to ruin him because I'd taken the time to draw him and color him. So I'm reusing him. No one's going to see that he's been glued before. So, if you have any extra pieces, don't be afraid to use them again. So he's going to sit just like this in the center. So he looks good there. Okay, so now for the fish. I put a piece of tape on the back of this one, just this low tack tape. It's going to stick him right about there. And then I want to see when I close the card and open the card if he can still be seen. So as you can see, he's pretty good right there. So I'm going to remove this piece. And I'm just going to put some glue right here. Oh, that glue is not coming out. All right, so I'm going to grab this other glue. I'm going to put glue right here. Take the tape off of the back of this fish. And then I'm going to put that fish just right back there, right where I had him. Where that glue is. And now as you can see, before he dries, I want to make sure that he does actually stay on there and that you can see him. So I'm going to take the white glue and I'm going to just go ahead and glue down his tail where I missed from the other one. And then just secure that down. Just want to make sure that he's not in the way and there's no glue on the top. Okay, that's perfect. Then for the other fish, I'm just going to go ahead and just play with these, just put them around. And again, you can use the glue or you can use tape to test it first just to see where you want them. Now again, I don't want these to be seen when the card is closed, so I'm going to glue them to the underside of that circle that's moving. So I'm just going to put glue on the top of his fins and then just put him on here, secure him down so those aren't touching, and then when the card closes, as you can see, he goes all the way down to the bottom. So that looks pretty cute. Yeah, like that. Okay. Next, we're going to do another fish. I'm going to do one up on the top. I want to make sure that, just know that the way the circle spins, the opposite direction that they go. So for this one, I'm just going to put again on his fins, underneath that first circle. And I don't want them too close, so I'm going to put him right about there. Again, you can glue this first. See, if that's too close, I don't like him there. So I'm going to take him and move him back just a little bit, just a tiny bit, just so that he doesn't get in the way of the card and so that he will not be right on top of the other fish. And then I have one more, and we're going to put him down at the bottom. And again, if you want to use tape just to make sure that he will spin and doesn't get in the way, or that he doesn't stick out of the card. So I'm going to grab a piece of tape, just put it on there, kind of eyeball where I want him. That's when it's all the way open. And it does work that way, so because it goes under the card and there's room for it to spin. But I think he's a little bit too far away, so I'm going to bring him back over. Oops, I lost my tape. I'm going to put him probably about here, making sure he again doesn't stick outside the card, and that's where he's going to end up being. So we'll glue him. I'm just going to put this here just so I know where my mark is. Put glue just on his fins on the top. I'm just doing it at the bottom of his tail on this one. And then just where that stylus was, I'm just going to put him right there. And there you go. I like the movement on the inside of the card. I think it's really fun. And for the bucket, we're going to put the bucket on the front of the card. Again, this is a piece that I had put on another card. I didn't like it, so I kept the piece. So it's going to sit right there on the edge. Then you can see these little blue pieces I have, and then the fishing rod. I'm going to put the fishing rod or the fishing pole right here on the front. So I'm just going to take my glue. I'm going to glue just on the blue. So I'm not going to glue down the hook because the card has to open. If you glue it down, the card won't open. So it's going to just stay unsecure. So we're going to push that in and leave it just like that. Oh, this has turned out to be such a cute card. Okay, then I have, like I said, these little raindrops that I cut out of paper. And I just freehand cut just a little shape. I used just precision cut scissors. And I'm going to put 2 at the bottom here so it looks like water is splashing out of his pail. And these don't have to be perfect. I just, they were pretty easy to cut out. Just very, very tiny. So those look good there. And I think I'm going to put the rest of them, I'm going to put them up by the fish that he's holding. So I'm going to put just a little bit right here. Just so it looks like the fish is wet that he's holding. We'll do one more. Yeah, we'll put this one at the bottom. That looks cute there. I'm just using my poker just to poke it down, just to make sure that it's secure. How fun was that? What a cute card this turned out to be. I really like the way this turned out. So on the inside, you can put a sentiment if you wanted. You could put a sentiment right here if you wanted. I will probably put something. I haven't decided what I want to put yet, so that's why there's nothing on this one. But this is the card that we made. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Until next time, happy crafting, and I hope to see you real soon. Bye-bye.